What is going on, people? TripleM back again with another video. It's daily dose of football content, and today I've got a very short and sweet video for you guys discussing Bruno Fernandes. I want to reflect on Bruno Fernandes, on the season he's had so far, and give you guys my honest thoughts on what I think of Bruno Fernandes' season so far. I was scrolling through Twitter earlier and I saw a very interesting graphic from an account called United Arena. For those of you who don't know who this account is, I'm going to assume that you are happy, that you are filled with joy, that your life is going well, and that you don't have to be subjected to the misery of this, Bluebird platform. But for the rest of us who put ourselves through the torture and misery of being on this Bluebird platform, this account is probably one of the best accounts and probably one of the reasons I stay on this platform. He's a very good tactical account. I'm assuming it's a he. I don't really know the identity of the person, but very good account that posts a lot of analytical content. And I think this graph was very, very interesting. This graph shows the most productive players in the Premier League so far. Now, this isn't just based on goals and assists. This is based on a lot of advanced metrics such as progressive carries, progressive passes into the final third, chances created, and all of the things that get taken into consideration in terms of being a productive player. Your output in the final third is how this graph and this data visualization was made. Now, the interesting thing is you've got players like Jesus, you've got players like Tony, Mitrovic. I'm not surprised to see those players here because visually, in terms of the eye test, they've been one of the best players I've watched this season in terms of forward-playing players. I've praised Jesus a lot, so I'm not going to do it in today's video because, I don't want to be accused of being a secret Arsenal fan. But even Tony, just between me and you, I would have taken him at Manchester United. I would have. I know there's a snobbery from Manchester United fans and a snarky attitude towards even Tony. We look down on players who play for Brentford, even though we signed one of them and he turns out to be one of our best players in Christian Eriksen. Oh no, even Tony can't be that good. He plays for Brentford. How dare you suggest he's good enough for Manchester United? That's the attitude and vibes I get from Manchester United fans whenever you bring up even Tony, but I'm not one of those fans. I think he's a very good player. Anyways, we're not here to talk about Tony. Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford are there. Now, Rashford, topic for another day. Let's talk about Bruno, because I was thinking about seeing Bruno on this list and I thought to myself, is he actually having a good season or is he actually having a bad season? Because a lot of people are saying, Bruno Fernandes, he loses the ball too much, he's ill-disciplined, he just doesn't make the right decisions. And now that his goals and assists have dried up, everybody's finally seeing how bad he actually is. And I've been saying this from day one, that's what people are saying, right? That's the justification people are trying to give behind their hatred and dislike towards Bruno Fernandes. And honestly, the data just doesn't back it up. And neither does the eye test, if I'm being completely honest with you. Does Bruno Fernandes lose the ball a lot? Yeah, he does. Does he make a lot of stupid Hollywood passes? Yeah, he does. But does that mean he does nothing correctly throughout the 90 minutes? No. Does he actually play good passes every now and then? Yes. Does he actually create a lot of chances for Manchester United? Yeah. Is he actually a productive player? Yeah. Does he give the ball away extremely more than most other players playing in his position? No. And the data's there to back it up. This is Christian Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes' stats so far this season. On the left is Bruno Fernandes, who, by the way, is playing more advanced up the field than Eriksen, so keep that in mind when you look at these stats. And Eriksen is playing a lot deeper. If you go down to their passing statistics, which is what really matters here, in terms of their passes, their key passes per game, Eriksen is sitting at 2.0 and Bruno Fernandes is sitting at 1.8, so pretty similar in terms of the key passes they're playing, in terms of the chances they're creating. In terms of the accuracy, Christian Eriksen is sitting at 80%, Bruno Fernandes is sitting at 76%. There's not a big disparity there. In their own half, again, Bruno Fernandes is sitting at 83%, Eriksen is on 88%. Not a huge disparity. Not a very huge disparity at all. In the opposition half, Bruno Fernandes is averaging 69% of accurate passes. Eriksen, on the other hand, has 67%. Listen to that again. Bruno Fernandes, 69% accurate passes in the opposition half. Christian Eriksen is at 67%. Christian Eriksen is playing deeper than Bruno Fernandes, mind you. Deeper. He's playing in a deeper position and he's losing the ball more than Bruno. I'm just saying, right? In terms of long balls, Bruno Fernandes is at 48%. Christian Eriksen is at 50%. So Christian Eriksen is beating him by 2%. It's not a massive disparity, man. But on social media, you have these people trying to convince you that Eriksen is miles ahead of Bruno. He doesn't lose the ball anywhere near as much as Bruno Fernandes. Oh no, he's a genius. There's no denying that Eriksen is a better technical footballer than Bruno Fernandes. There's no denying that Eriksen is in better form than Bruno Fernandes at the moment. There's no denying that he's a better player than Bruno Fernandes at the moment. But this notion that Bruno is just terrible, he's just trash, he's hot garbage, he should be playing in the championship, he has nothing to offer the team, it's utter rubbish. It's an overreaction to his mistakes. It's an overreaction to him as a player. And you see it with other Manchester United players. Harry Maguire is a very good example. Now, there's people who criticize Harry Maguire for the mistakes he's made and are sensible with it. They'll break it down to you in footballing terms and bring data to back it up and say, hey, this is why Harry Maguire doesn't deserve to start for Manchester United. But then there's other people who will say the most outlandish things, like Harry Maguire shouldn't be playing in the Premier League, he should be playing in like League 2. It's like, come on now. Come on, be serious with your analysis. So I get that people don't like Bruno Fernandes. I get that people don't rate Bruno Fernandes in terms of, being as good as someone like Christian Eriksen. But to suggest that he offers the team nothing, it's a bit of a madness to me. And people will say, well, stats don't tell the full story. Yeah, they don't. That's why you use the eye test and stats. You don't just use one or the other. I'm a person who watches every Manchester United game and other Premier League games. I'm not somebody who just looks at stats and then makes their opinion based off that. I actually watch football, then I use stats to confirm what my eyes are seeing. Because if you don't use data and you don't learn how to interpret data as a modern football fan, then all you are is a biased individual who only believes what they want to see. And that is literally the definition of being subjective. Whereas somebody who's objective is somebody who removes their personal feelings and actually tries to find the truth. Somebody who actually says, you know what? Maybe I'm being harsh on this player. Let me actually go look if the data backs out what my eyes are seeing. Because my eyes are seeing he loses the ball. He never plays any good passes. He never does anything productive. He doesn't create that many chances. So let me actually go see if this is true. Nah, but football fans won't do that. They'll just, it's an overreaction. So do I think Bruno Fernandes has had a terrible season? No. Do I think he's had a great season? No. I think he's had a decent season. I think he's had an acceptable season. I think he's performing at an okay level at the moment. My biggest gripe with Bruno Fernandes for me is that he doesn't know how to change his gears. He doesn't know how to slow down his tempo. When Manchester United are 2-0 up in a game, there's nothing that pisses me off more than us winning the ball off the opposition and then playing a 60-yard Hollywood pass to try score a goal. It doesn't make sense. When you're 2-0 up or 2-1 up away from home or even at home, slow the game down. Do what big teams do. Turn it into a training ground. That's my biggest criticism of Bruno Fernandes, is that when we're in situations where we're not chasing the game and we're leading, he plays like the ball has a time bomb attached to it, right? Like it's a hot potato. That's my only criticism of Bruno Fernandes. Apart from that, I think he's a fantastic player. Technically, I've got no issues with Bruno Fernandes. I've always said that his issue is not his technical ability, it's his brain and his decision making. That's it. And I think people need to stop over-analyzing and over-magnifying Bruno Fernandes' mistakes, because I see it a lot with other Manchester United players. Harry Maguire is a very good example, but even ignoring Harry Maguire, there's other players at Manchester United. David De Gea is one of them as well. I think David De Gea should be sold, but do I think he's the worst goalkeeper of all time? No. But like people will have you believe that with the way they over-scrutinize and over-analyze everything and make these fail compilations and say, oh my God, how could we let Dean Henderson go, as if he's ripping up trees at Nottingham Forest? Like there's this constant revisionism in the Manchester United fan base to try change facts and change evidence to suit their opinion. And it's just shallow in my opinion. It's just very silly. It's wrong. And I think people should be honest with themselves. I don't think Bruno Fernandes has been that bad. In fact, I think Bruno Fernandes has been okay. That's all I've got to say in this video. It's been your boy TripleM. Peace.